through. But as I was just saying, my chicks are inside. They've all got a bit of cabin fever because it is so cold outside, and my matriarchal chicken, Dima, is going through a really hard molt. And obviously, you know from the last live stream, um, she's been really sick, and I seem to think obviously they're both connected. I read about how chickens, they when they're ready to go through their molt, the thyroid is triggered by a certain hormone, that onsets this molting process, and obviously that must have something to do with the reason why she wasn't eating, and why she was obviously going through this part now, because she's never molted like this. She did last year. She wasn't well also, and she was molting at the same time, but this is such a hard molt. Like, the poor chook, she's barely got any feathers on her, and um, I'm too frightened to touch her too much, because apparently, their new feathers coming through are really, really sensitive, and they're all so tiny, and you hold her and it's just like skin and little pricks of feathers coming through, and they're full of blood vessels, and it's all these new I guess fluids and proteins coming through in order to push the feathers through those little tiny feather ducts. And yeah, so I am not letting her outside, and in fact all of them are inside. Who wants to be out in miserable cold weather anyway? Because all they'll be doing is being under the house, too cold to move. So, they're better off in here with their mama, eating plenty of food, plenty of drink, nice warm crackling fire. What else could a chicken want? So anyway, even though the back door is open, they're not going out. Only the two littler ones, Erithe and Shalaha, may go out every now and then, but Venus has no interest, and Dima, as soon as she walks to the door, if she does go, she just turns around. It's just too cold for her. And Venus is also going through some kind of a molt, nowhere near as hard as Dima, but there have been feathers everywhere, and there were a lot of feathers in here, but I've been cleaning in here this morning, getting rid of them, and trying to tidy up. So that's what's going on here at Elnor right now. Greetings, beauties all over planet Earth. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm hoping the signal goes okay here, because I'm in the workshop and it can always be very, very choppy. But right now I've got the green light, so looks like we're good. And it's meant to be raining here today. We've had a little bit of rain, but there's just no sun. No sun, and particularly when, a chicken is going through a molt, they need sun, they need UV rays to stimulate that, feather production, and get those feathers pushed through. But there's been no damn sun. There's been, it's just been freezing. And why on earth a chook would decide to molt at this time is one of those things I'll never understand. But I mean, nobody can predict the weather, but at least, it's just been such a cold, wet winter already. It's just been, the timing is just a little bit hit and miss, I think, with Dima. And all I can do is just keep her warm, because there's no way I would ever have her outside in this weather with no feathers. Because the feathers is all I have to insulate them, keep them warm, protect them. She's very, very vulnerable right now, and I am very protective of her. Even if they are feeling a bit of cabin fever and they want to go outside, I'm not going to let them. So not Dima and Venus, but the other two I will if they want, because they're not molting and they're nice and fat and healthy and happy, and they can go out, but they don't last too long. They come straight back inside. So how is everybody? Oh my gosh, hi Sandra. Yeah, my gosh, what a crazy time. So much is going on, and obviously, now that I have told you guys that I am going to be leaving Elnor, I have been busy, busy, busy cleaning, cleaning, organizing, decluttering, and not that I'm not big on clutter anyway, even though I've got a lot of things. I use everything here. So I'm in my workshop right now. Um, but I'm using things. Whoops, I'm just going to straighten up my picture there. I use everything here. All my oils, my incenses, my books, whatever. Like everything is used here, and I just have a lot of it because hey, I'm a businesswoman. A witchy businesswoman doing her thing. So this is my jam. So fun, obvious, fun. Moving is no fun, and I hate doing it. Because there's just it's so transitional and everything in boxes, packing everything up, shifting heavy furniture. By the way, I have no idea where I'm going to be going. I have an idea of where I would like to go, but right now there's nothing on the market in the area that I'm looking. I'm so sorry, my nose is running. Excuse me, because it's cold. I know the area where my heart is, but there is just nothing on the market right now. But I absolutely have full faith in the way the universe works, and things will just turn out as they need to when they need to, because they always have. They always have. And this is where, today's theme that I'm talking about with our live stream is refining that needle compass. So what does that mean? So that means, obviously, if you've been following me for a while, you know the way I live, and that's entirely by the heart and entirely intuitively. So I will not do something if I either have immense boredom or it does not feel right. Um, and I realize there are some times in life I do need to make compromises in order to get to the end goal. For example, with my education degree that I'm doing now, we're in semester break, but I realize there are probably going to be a lot of assignments, a lot of elements of this study that I am not necessarily going to enjoy. But in order for me to get to the end result, I need to do it. I need to do it. So I'm just going to have to put up with it, deal with it, get it done, and then dust my hands off, and I will never have to do it again. So I understand that, but I'm talking about long-term compromises, kind of like permanent compromises. I'm not into that. And I've always just moved entirely intuitively. Whether that's right for somebody else, it doesn't matter, because this is my breath, this is my body, this is my perspective and my place on the planet, and this is how I am moving through and experiencing physical reality on planet Earth. So, so you know, this is the thing. I am comfortable at Elnor. I have everything here. I have space. I have beautiful gardens. I have everything, everything, and I'm so thankful for that. But the location is not correct, and I've never felt at home. I've always had a subtle restlessness about this area. And I've spoken about this before. I've spoken about it, over the years that I've been here every now and then. And I am not willing to compromise on that, because location is everything. It is for me. And I feel very lucky that I have my own water here. I have soil. I feel so rich. I have so much abundance here. But the location has always not felt fully settled within me. And I've always seen Elnor as a place of growth and again, a bit like a bridge. I would have liked to have felt like I could have settled here because you know how inconvenient moving can be and how uplifting that is in every way. But also a time of just it can be very draining, chaotic. I do not want this move to be any of those things. So I am gently moving through clearing, cleaning, fixing, organizing, day by day, doing this process extremely gently. So, you know, for an example, what I've been doing in the good weather when it was sunny, I had the goal of digging out all the big date palms. So, you know, I would do that and focus on that for that day. And after I did that, the next day I would do one rose bed, which may have 30 roses. So another day I would dig out that. The day after that, I may have gone around and dug out all the little date palms. That's basically how it's been going. Just little progressions every day. Because if you think about, if I think about all the work that I need to do, it's extremely overwhelming and it's so much for one person. So I just take it day by day and small, small, small little goals. And that's all there is to it. And now I've done that. I've pulled out all my big date palms. I've pulled out all my roses. One rose bed. I've still got another one to go. I've pulled out all my little natives. Pulled out all my proteas and leucospermum and leucodendrons. I've pulled out a lot of fruit trees. Gosh, you know, it's been a monumental effort already. Yesterday, because it's been so cold, I've cleaned this entire bench, going through every drawer, putting in mothballs, having them smelling fresh, crisp, having them all vacuum cleaned out, and just organized and ready to go whenever that is. I have not yet put this place on the market because I still have a lot of cleaning to do. Not even clearing now because I've pretty much cleared out a lot of stuff and old clothes. My goodness. So I've gone through all my old dresses and garments and shoes that I used to wear in the Middle East. I have given them away to an op shop, like a you know donation place for clothes and shoes. So whoever's going to get my things, oh look, it's going to be hilarious because you know there's some beautiful Louboutin designer heels in there. There's some Hermes shoes. There's some you know beautiful gowns. I mean, I have no idea where anyone would wear them, but there's clothes that I'm easily able to part with. I'm not stuck on clothing at all. One thing I cannot part with though is my plants and Elnor because these plants, these plants are the impetus of what it is that I'm wanting to create and what I'm wanting to have in my life. I cannot part with my plants, and I've nurtured them for so long, and I want to take them with me. And of course, you know, I'm going to take them with me because I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on those plants, and I don't really want to start all over again, having to do all that, invest all that money again. I would much rather put in the elbow grease and the hard yakka and pull them out. And I'm hoping that they all survive. And in fact, let me tell you this, because it's been so dry and because we've had such a dry last year and summertime, when I have dug up these like big date palms and even my roses, it is absolutely brittle, bone, dusty dry. Despite all the rain that we've had, it is absolutely bone dry underneath the base of the roots. I am just shocked because we've had so much rain and still it has not touched even like, you know, below the surface. I'm shocked. I just can't believe how dry it is, beneath the soil. And whether that's, I've hindered that process because I've put in insulation in the form of sawdust, I don't know, but it is just brittle, bone dry, and it has been so wet. I'm just flabbergasted about that. So, gently, gently, slowly, slowly, cleaning up, and then eventually, when I feel ready, um, I will put this place on the market. And um, then already now, my energy is focusing on visualizing where it is I want to go and what it is that I'm looking for. And obviously, a lot of you know it's got to be private. It's got to be without neighbors. I do not need influence or exterior agency influencing the decisions I make on a day to day basis at my home. I don't want to be affected by neighbors. I don't want to see neighbors. You know, in the beginning when I moved here, it was like that. I wasn't at all affected by what was around me because there wasn't much. And then these other people moved in, and the dynamic just changes. And and it has because, you know, and I'm not pointing the finger at them because I'm very aware of that attraction, that mutual attraction of law of the law of cause and effect. And I think to myself, how did I attract this? How did I attract this lack of privacy and these people to come in and just cause a raucous and completely disrupt, the peace around this area? I seem to think, where is the lesson in this? What is universe trying to show me with this? Is universe trying to show me that people are still very unconscious and they have no idea what the hell they're doing most of the time? I don't know, but I I am that person that will reflect and think, where have I gone amiss with this? What have I been projecting out? Have I been focusing too much my attention on the privacy thing? I don't know, but um, I just know that this location is not it. It's not it. And perhaps it's my own lesson in that I need to be more careful with where I choose to um, sit myself and, live within. So I want to get it right. I want to get it right. And I'm willing to wait if I need to, but I'm hoping that the transition is seamless. I know it's going to be very difficult moving a lot of this furniture. Sometimes I think I just want to leave it all behind, but there's too many things that I love and that are expensive, and I need something to sit on. So why buy something else when I've already got it here? It's just the logistics of moving, which is, nobody likes that. Nobody likes that. So this is where we're at. So every day, this week it's been indoor work, but tomorrow I've got to go and see some family, and so I have to travel. I'm taking my chickens into my mother's house, and I am so adamant to her that she must keep Dima inside, keep her in the laundry. She's got a huge big window that she can look out behind the glass, but she can't go outside if the weather is like this. The chook will freeze to death and, can make her very sick. And there is nothing, when they're going through a molt, you want them as stress-free as possible. And Dima is a highly sensitive, refined chookie. She needs a lot of love and attention, especially in this, it's very vulnerable and a real critical time in their life because, she's got no protection. So I was adamant. I said to my mother, I said, listen, I said, if she cannot go inside the laundry, if you don't let her go in there, and, just lay some old towels down, if you're worried about her pooing everywhere, I said, if she can't do that, I'm not coming. So it's either that or that, this or that. That's my conditions. So, that's the only time I'll travel. Any other time, it's fine. It's just that it's such a vulnerable, critical time for her. I love my animals too much, and I would hate to think that she is outside shivering, freezing cold, and you know, not able to keep herself warm and protected because my mother doesn't want her in the laundry. So, yeah. So I'm a little bit reluctant to travel tomorrow, but I need to go. I haven't seen some certain family members for a very, very long time, and I have to go. So, but I won't go if my conditions cannot be met. Sorry, I love my chickens too much. So how is everybody doing? Hope everybody's well. Hi there. Hi Rod. Hi Louise. Hi Ross. Hi Rebecca. Yeah, JT, you're finally here, honey. I wish I could catch you when I'm not at work, out in the Western Tablelands right now doing outreach work. Oh, that's so cool. I hope you've got sun up there, honey. Waiting for my next appointment to show up. Hi, Kenzie. Hi, Stinkmeister. Are you selling some of your items? I'd be keen to see if there's anything to buy off you. Even if I was going to sell any of my items, the thing with Australia Post, it's just so damn ridiculous. So anything with weight on it, it's going to be over $30. It's so ridiculous. And believe me, it's such a headache. And because I know how much of a pain it is for you guys, because I get the messages, and the comments, why is the postage so expensive? Oh, look, I wish we had American postage where it was only like $3 or $4 for heavy items, but in this country, I don't know why. It's just so expensive, and it is, and it's just ridiculous. Unless you've got like massive business where you're turning over like 100 or 200 orders a week, you can get like a business account, but still you have to pay for that to get subsidized rates. It's just crazy. So, that's why I feel a little bit reluctant to sell things outside, just because of the weight issue of postage and tracking postage. So standard air is always more expensive than economy because you can track your stuff. It's a crook. Australia Post is a crook, and that's our really only cheapest service. From there, it just goes up and up. So, hi Amanda, how are you? Yeah, oh look, many people are at crossroads. Huge transitions happening right now. But I know that I will not compromise, and I've got a goal now, and it's simply a matter of timing. The universe knows this better than even I know it. And if it didn't, I wouldn't have the desire to move on. You know, this is, you got to remember when we talk about the unseen world, I've always used that analogy of you being the person weaving and walking through the dark forest, and your higher self is on the top of the mountain, the all-seeing eye, and basically can see the path that you're weaving towards, and can give you guidance because it can see the bigger picture. So allow your heart and that compass needle to be your barometer, to be your gauging factor as to whether you move with something or you don't. And again, if it does not feel right, do not do it. If this didn't feel right, I wouldn't be doing this because it's such a monumental effort to move or anything. I've recently, as some of you are very aware, I've uploaded this book that I wrote, Eyes of the Scarlet Rose, and it just felt right. It felt like the right time to do that, and I wanted to share that. I wanted to allow you to dive into that world, the very sensual world of Bonnie DeHaro and Marcos Almeida. Like, the timing just felt right to share it. I can't explain it. And I've been very much enjoying the process of narrating that book through my eyes and through my energy, the way that I perceive that story. Obviously, everybody's going to have their own perception, But it's a fun story, and it's easy to get lost in that world, and it's very much like an escape, and I felt like that when I wrote it because it was such an easy book for me to write because a lot of it is based on true story, true people. Um, I'm not going to say what and who, but it was a very easy process, very passionate process. And the universe, there's so much that the universe is responsible for that. Like, that it again, it's that guidance factor. It was just the right time to write the book. And I've often spoke about how quickly that came to me, that seed of writing that story. It was literally me sitting down one night, A4 piece of paper, just jotting down some plot notes of this story. And as soon as I started, it was like the floodgates just burst open and I could not stop. Day and night, that book just, the story just took a hold of me. And I think that translates a lot when you read it. Well, I know it does because I'm reading the comments. I've read the feedback, and thank you so much for your feedback. And I'm so glad you're enjoying the story. And obviously, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, this way of writing. It's an erotic romance, not everybody's genre. And of course, it's extremely different to my other two books, one being a guidance book, Cosmocraft, and then the other, the Arunasis Medallion, which is like a sci-fi fantasy. Um, Two completely different genres, two completely different behaviors and attitudes, and this is very much like a personal diary book. This Eyes of the Scarlet Rose. It's very personal, and I think you can tell that when you read it or listen to it. Um, and I'm glad that people are enjoying it. I can say without a doubt, I have absolutely ruffled feathers with this book. I have had some really awful messages sent to me. How personal some people, especially women, have taken this book, and I've been called a misogynist. I've been called an aggressive feminist. How could I insult the female part of our race so much? And awful things, cheap, a whore. It's directed to me personally, and I just think, whoa, look, I'm flattered you feel so personal and so emotional about the book, but it's only a story. So, if people are attacking you like that, the story has gripped them in some way, whether it's a good grip or not such a good grip, but you've gripped them or triggered people when you've written a story, and you've made them be affected in a certain way. So believe me, I've read and have received feedback on both ends of the coin, and I don't know why though people feel to attack me as an author personally, like it's all me, like this entire story is all me. I just I wrote it, and yes, there are elements of truth in it, but it's just a story at the end. It's just a story, but it's unbelievable how people get so caught up in the momentum of a story. I mean, look at Game of Thrones. Look at some, gosh, I'm trying to think, another really good novel. But people get so swept up in the emotion and the passion of a really good story, and it's hard for them not to. And it's hard, sorry, it's easy to hate characters and hate the evil person, and and then it's written so well because it's having such a dramatic effect on the reader or on the viewer, or whatever. So you know at the end of the day, I wrote the story, and it feels so good to have finally written it, and having it in physical manifested form, and I that satiation to get it onto paper is gone within me now because it's done. So again, this comes back to that refinement of the compass needle, doing things that, they may not seem like a big deal at the time, but when you give them a little bit of momentum and energy, my God, how you can, it's like a snowball effect. So you'll never know though. You'll never know unless you try. Unless you try. And if there is something within you that you are absolutely burning to do, and you have so much desire, you've got to do it. You've got to honor that energy and that desire, because it's so strong. It has such momentum. There's so much energy behind that. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that momentum and that energy to come through as hard as it does. So sometimes all you need to do is just open up that gate a little bit, and it just bursts open. And so something that starts off so small and tiny just turns into a monster. It turns into, it takes a life of its own, basically. So never be afraid of that. Never stop yourself from 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 undertaking that if you so wish to do it. Honor that. If that's what you feel you need to do that. No matter what anybody says, or how crazy it may sound at the time. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's only when things get so much big momentum and people see the end product that they want to jump on board and can understand and can feel it and want to ride with that. It's very hard for people to see your ideas and your perceptions when it hasn't manifested, because the majority of the world is living within that seeing is believing kind of perception, when it's the other way. Believing is seeing and visualizing this, and tweaking it and refining it until it is right for you. Don't worry about pleasing anybody else. Don't worry about whether somebody else likes it or not. You have to do something for you. I wrote that story for me. I love nothing more than opening up that book and getting into that story again. And that's I feel like that's how it's gonna be done, because if you do it for yourself, there's gonna be so much more passion into it. And it was always my intention to just write the story as best as I could, and as natural, that's the word, as natural as I could. A very, very natural progression. Not having in the back of your mind, are people going to enjoy this, and what are people going to think of that? It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Because as soon as you start focusing your attention on those things, you're no longer writing it for yourself or appeasing yourself. And then it becomes diluted and confused, and it doesn't become from the heart then. It doesn't feel as authentic. Let me tell you this. You're never going to please everybody in the world. You're never going to be everyone's friend in the world. Like, I know this, and I'm sure most of you do as well, because everyone is in different everyone's in different streams of energies. Everyone's, it's like that woven tapestry. Everyone is basically within their own thread and living their own lives. And there are going to be people that we love. There's going to be people that piss us off. There's going to be people that we hate. There's going to be people that annoy us. There's going to be people that make us laugh, make us cry, make us live, make us passionate. This is how it is. And like, life is so short. To be worried about what anybody else thinks about you and who you are, it's just such a goddamn waste of time. Like, I'm almost 40. I'm 39. And I just think, where the hell has all the time gone? Where has all this time gone? Where has this gone? It just feels like it's just flashed me by. Only yesterday I was 25. Now I'm 39. It's unbelievable where time goes. This illusion of time. It's unbelievable to me. But let me tell you this, time is only an illusion. And so when you are in that passion stream, for example, just writing this book, writing Eyes of the Scarlet Rose, I would write this and I would lose track of all space and time. And fundamentally, at that moment, when I've been writing for 5 hours, it may only feel like, a half an hour. And you know what is actually happening is really you've only aged or moved through time a half an hour. This really is the truth of time. Like it's such a perceptive illusion, a perfect illusion, and we are governed by time. Could you imagine if we did not have time? I mean, our world would be so different. It would be so different. Everyone is governed by time, whether they are aware of it or not. But one thing that would still continue to happen is the rise and the fall of the sun, or at least, no, that's another illusion. Planet Earth, spinning around the circumference of the sun's orbit, basically. But the seasons would still happen. Our skin would still wrinkle. Our body would still become mature. We would move through the natural cycles of life and death, whether time exists or not. It's just our measure that we use here. So it's unbelievable when you start to think about it, because anywhere else in our sense of existence, time would be very, very different. Time would be measured so different. I can't even imagine how it would be measured. Yeah, seamless can be tough to achieve. Well, let me tell you, my moving and my clearing out has been pretty seamless so far. The actual move itself, I'm hoping it's seamless also. I'm hoping I visualize and put myself into a projection where the move is gentle, and I just want it gentle and smooth, and however that is meant to turn out, I have full faith that the universe will deliver that, and I believe that. So I don't need to know the how of something is going to turn out. I just need to set the energetic framework. Simple as that. And then just leave the rest up to the universe. However, when I start having that outside influence, perhaps from my mother or listening to somebody else, or that the real the subliminal influence that people are not even aware that's occurring, such as, oh, moving is always so stressful, it's so tough, oh, it's so disorganized, it's chaotic. As soon as you start getting those keywords and that subtle influence, it can formulate and condition the way you think about the process, and I don't want that. So if somebody like my mother tells me that, she starts going into detail, oh, what about this and what about that, I'm just like, it has not happened yet. Do not start conditioning the way that this turns out. And she's very aware of that. And so I remind her, we don't want it to be like that. So just relax. Just relax. Hi, the Green Goddess. Stinkmeister says, I'd pay $30 postage for some cheaper price Louboutins. I'm not giving them all up. There's a gold pair. They are a little rough around the heel. They need to be fixed a little. I'm keeping my black ones. Love my black ones. Gosh, oh look. Once I have the vibe of just decluttering, it's just pretty much everything goes, because you're talking to a woman here that came back in this country with one small little suitcase, and I did the same decluttering just before I left Dubai, and I gave away so much really good stuff. Just, it was easy for me to, I just didn't want it. As soon as my decision was made to leave Dubai, oh, look, thousands of dollars worth of clothes and shoes, jewels, my car. Can you believe I gave my car away? Oh gosh. I have no attachment to the, I just have no attachment to the worth or the value of stuff. Once my decision is made, it's done, and it's so easy for me to let things go, like material things. So, yeah. Gosh. Ross says, listening to you in the background while doing aesthetics homework. Just started a class today, which happened to coincide with my solar return. Well done. Enjoy your aesthetics homework. Sounds very interesting. I'm actually on my semester break right now. I did my chemistry exam last week. Can you believe a tooth filling fell out when I did that? That's the second tooth filling in about 2 months after I got it done. So I wasn't happy about that. And it happened during my chemistry exam. Obviously it gave me a toothache. No, I'm joking. So anyway, it was just more of an inconvenience. Hi, Lord of the Shells. Yeah. Ross says, the heaviness of the past few months seems to be breaking up, but not without turbulence. Hold on, everyone. Oh, let me tell you, it's going to be turbulent for a while. And you're going to have to really carve out your own way. Stream off from the main, the mainstream, basically, the mainstream. Really, it's, I think people are feeling that more than ever, that real conscious changes have to be made within one's life. So, Amanda says, feel the same way. I don't want neighbors either. Want to live off the grid. Yep. Political BS, lots of corruption, lots of deceit. Do not be fooled, people. There's so much going on right now. Have your wits about you and do not second guess your own intuition. Jessica said, how long did it take you to write Eyes of the Scarlet Rose? Do you know what, Jessica? It was so quick, because it was such a seamless experience for me, and it really was. It was like, I've always said, it was like a virus, long before, the world we live in now, but I could not drop it, I could not put it down, and I wrote that within 3 to 4 months, as opposed to my other novel, The Arunasis Medallion, which took me over 10 years to write. It is a mammoth book, a mammoth story. And then, writing the story is one thing, but then you have to edit. First edit, second edit, third edit. I mean, you are continually editing. And to do it on your own is a huge undertaking. But that's just part of the process. Eyes of the Scarlet Rose was very quick. Hi, JT. Neighbors are such a burden. I can't be bothered. I told my partner, close the curtains. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Isn't it a shame, just one person or a couple of people can just, just spoil the atmosphere, just spoil it. It only takes one. And most of the time, they're so unconscious of what they're doing. People have no idea how their imprint can affect somebody else. I say it again and again and again. I'm so conscious of that. Matronix says, you can't really worry about the negative thoughts about your books. Even Hemingway has haters. Oh, look, I'm not concerned about it. Good luck to people if they hate it. Well, good luck to them. But I have definitely, people have felt the need to personally write me a message about it. I hope it makes them feel much better. Pat on the back. I'm just reading your dialogue here. Yes. Hi, Firoz. Hi, Crystal. You look healthy. I love you because you're so organic. Time is such an illusion. When I paint, I notice that time seems to pass effortlessly. Yes. And this is exactly that passion stream. The more you allow yourself to be in it, like the more rich and fulfilled and abundant your life is. Like that is the way it works. You know, you're obviously a recipient of that. I am a recipient of that. And the way I live and who I am is absolutely, um, this is a result of that way of thinking. And everything else fades away. All this other BS and drama and crap that's happening in the mainstream, that real concerted effort to keep us in that mainstream and that main focus, none of that matters. That's somebody else's plan. That does not have to be yours. That does not have to be your plan. If you don't like what you're seeing, if you don't like the fear mongering, if you don't like what you are experiencing, only you can change that. There's only so much finger pointing you can put on the mainstream focus. If you don't like something that you're seeing, all you have to do is change the channel. Literally change the channel. Change your thinking. Don't talk about it. The more you focus on something you do not want in your life, the more you are actively keeping it there. And, this works on both sides of the coin. So it's becoming conscious creators of what it is that you want to see. And keep it simple. Keep it simple. Keep it easy for yourself and keep it simple. I'm just watching these chooks next to the fire. Crackling fire. Oh. They're very well behaved today. And they have, they're not itching to get outside. They're happy to just, they're so used to the fire now. They're very happy with, the crackling. And actually, I will say I did put a log on and I had the vacuum going and there was an almighty bang. And it frightened the hell out of them and me. It sounded like a bullet went off in my fire. I don't know what it was. Yes. Oh, good. Ross says, yes, that's why I'm so thankful for the aesthetics course. They are very lax about the COVID regulations, and masks have always been required for working in close contact, so no questions asked. Yes. Oh, thank you so much, Aras. Oh, it's my girl. So good to see you as always. You also look beautiful as always. Sending you love and continued health, abundance, prosperity, and well-being. You've taught me so much along the years. Oh my gosh. I feel your oceans of love. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. And this is the thing. Sometimes, like, unless I don't hear from people, you don't have you have no idea how you can affect somebody else. And this is what I talk about with people, when they are so unconscious of their imprint. Like, it has such a rippling effect, and learning to pay attention to the small detail. And for example, when I might post out some orders, I love writing handwritten notes. I don't know about you guys, call me old-fashioned, but to me, a handwritten note, to have your energy sweeping along a piece of paper and your handwriting, no matter if it's messy, because mine is, to me, it's so nice to have something that just seems to be fading out in the world. Call me an old romanticist, but like I love getting a handwritten note. And to me, it just represents, it's just so thoughtful. And so I like to impart that energy within my orders, and I love writing handwritten notes. I think it's just so lovely. It's such a nice thing. And I know how I feel when I get them. Like, I every handwritten note that I've received, I have kept. And I actually, when I was clearing out the other day, can I just go and grab it? I've just found one that was written like years and years ago, and I've kept it and I found it. I pulled it out and read it next to the fire. Sorry, girls. Sorry to disturb you next to the fire. Hold on. Just adjusting the wood. Okay. I've got a massive log on here that I'm wanting to crank up for the chickens. So this was written to me. Is there a date on here? Let's see. And it's written in pencil, and I love that. It is from Christian Hatcher, Nocturnal Awakenings. Look, it's such a touching, personal letter. Do you see, it's old now, and the paper is soft. But I keep all of these, and it's so touching to me because it represents so much thought and time and patience. And you look, it's just, to me, it's just so beautiful. And I thank any of you that have ever sent me a personal note, because I know how it feels to get them. Like, it's just a very beautiful thing. So I'm all about the detail, and so this is why I say, you know, that conscious imprint. It's so critical. It's so critical to refine that, and it's, you know, people are like, well, I mean, like, with the small detail, because it's the small things you do every day, the small goals. They don't even have to be goals, you know, but small things. Like, even when I'm cooking, I have such a spinach garden right now. I have so much spinach, and I'm eating bundles every day, which I love. And that's exactly what I mean. Feeding yourself really good food, homemade bread. I've actually been trying to make a sourdough loaf for the last few days, but my poor starter is just so cold. Um, I can't make my starter rise and bubble enough, or basically feed my starter and activate it, because the weather has been so cold. Not that it's temperature that, you know, is the only thing that affects the loaf that you make, but it absolutely helps. It's more so to do with the protein content. But, you know, like making your own homemade bread, putting that love into it, you know, and at night, like eating that spinach and giving thanks and giving love to Mother Earth for, like, it's the most delicious spinach. It's so good. And when I first planted it, you know, the soil really wasn't that good, but I've nurtured it, I've conditioned it. The chooks have helped me keep the grass and the weeds down. Like, there's so much love in that. And those plants, they can feel that. They can feel the projection of that love and gratitude and that appreciation. And, you know, call it a coincidence or whatever, but I have never tasted spinach that tastes so good. You know, crispy, salty, sweet, no bitterness. Not that, I don't mind some bitter, like greens, like lettuces and things, but this spinach, and it's meant to be baby spinach. It is huge spinach. So, you know, the details of feeding yourself good food. I have a bath every night, you know, really beautiful, hot, warm, steaming bath. It's definitely very hot right now because it's so cold outside. And I love just nurturing myself like that. And I'm a huge believer in treating yourself like that because I think that all adds up to, you know, the detail, allowing yourself the time to do those things because, you know, a lot of people, especially with children, find themselves rushing around and running out of hours in the day. And again, that's a perception. That's a very subjective perception. Um, and I am not discounting the fact that raising children, you know, is very time consuming. Um, but if that's the case, then allotting a certain amount of time, either when they go to bed, and creating a ritual out of your bath routine, you know, thinking beautiful thoughts, amalgamating with the water, letting Mother Nature cleanse you when you're in the water. Because you got to remember, water is extremely conscious and highly conducive to energy and thoughts and things. And so basically, you are creating a ritual every night. Well, at least I am when I lie in my bath with my soaps and my oils, and I have music or I have things I may listen to, dim, soft lighting. That's in my schoolhouse, and I've made it to be beautiful because when I first moved in, it was the ugliest, coldest, brittle, unloved bathroom, and I could not stand it. Now it's, you know, one of my favorite rooms of the house because I've conditioned it to the way that I would like to experience it. And so it takes effort. That takes effort. It takes time. But now I have the best baths. I feel so relaxed and rejuvenated after that. And, you know, I feel warm and fuzzy. It's the best feeling. And not everybody likes a bath, but I do. Always have. My mother always said to me, "Oh, you'll grow out of it." I never did. I've never been a shower person unless it's a very beautiful, delicious shower. And actually, when I did live in Montecito, in California, um, the house I was in absolutely had the best showers. You know, really big, beautiful marble shower. You could sit down in the shower. Beautiful, big um, uh, faucets, like shower heads, hoses. I mean, you know, like, and the water pressure was very good. So that's kind of where I sit with my showers. If it's anything less than that, I can't do it. I can't do it. Um, so it's a bath for me. So I've always done that, and so that's a huge part of my day. And even if I have been out, for example, I visited my girlfriend, you know, an hour or so away, Melissa, who some of you may know or have seen in a couple of my videos. I didn't come home until late, like midnight. I will still get in, run a bath, even if it's not as long as usual, and just lay back and relax. Um, I cannot go to bed without a bath. And if I do, I don't feel right. I don't feel the same. It's not as restful. The night is not as restful as it would be if I had a bath. So, talking about transitions, I mean, that's all these little things to give yourself, being kind to yourself, and the detail with little things like that. And it may take effort to start with, and especially if you have children and you've been doing things, or even a husband or a wife doing things a certain way for such a long time. But it's never ever too late to start. It's never too late to make a change, even if it's a subtle one. It's never ever too late, people of Earth. You know, and you are so worthy and deserving of that. Don't feel guilty because you want some me time. Because if you're not on top of your game, or if you're not feeling your best, how can you perform with everybody else or everything else around you? That's right. Dima agrees. She's purring. Can you hear that? This chook, she's got no feathers. She's had an ordeal. She's still purring. Oh my God, I love this chook. So, it's never too late to make a change. If I can also just share with you, I mean, talk about hard, and I'm sure she won't mind me talking about it, but my girl Melissa has had her own really huge transitional time, and I love her so much. The girl, talk about a change of events, but she had one of these things. I mean, my transition, look, everybody's transition and everybody's life is different, and no one's is more um, better or worse than the others, even though it may seem that way. But the girl has definitely had it hard um, the last month. So she had one of these things in her arm called an implanon. Do you guys know this thing? It's like a contraceptive device. She had it in there for years and years. It made her so sick, bleeding and bleeding and real different hormonal behaviors. And she had been diagnosed, the doctor had diagnosed her with Ross River virus. I'm not sure if Ross River, I don't know. Ross River does not exist outside because it is a river in the Northern Territory of Australia, I think. And it I think comes from a mosquito. Anyway, doctors said she had this and glandular fever. And so for all these years, she's been living with this. And anytime she'd be on her cycle, she would have enormous amounts of bleeding. That was just, she couldn't work, because she would be bleeding out and it would make her very sick, very anemic. Anyway, she had been living like this for years and years. And, she would always be complaining of how tired she was and how sick she felt. And everybody just thought it was this glandular fever and Ross River. Well, she came over to my house about a month ago, and we fix our hair with henna together because it's always much more easy to have help when you are hennaing your hair because it can get very messy, especially with the length of hair that I have. The next day she collapsed and she was taken to the hospital, and her hemoglobin count, the oxygen in her blood, was at 40. A normal human being is like 120. The girl is so lucky she did not went into cardiac arrest. How she has survived, with such low oxygen is beyond me. But she had 4 blood transfusions, and then she was flown to Adelaide. And at the time, they had no idea that this implanon was the cause of this. Because you know what happened? After she got this implanon like 5 or 6 years ago, it disappeared. It disappeared, and the doctors actually told her that, I'm sorry, but I don't think we've put this in your arm, and I think you're under the impression that, it is in your arm or in your body still because we can't find it. So they told her she was, basically that it probably fell on the floor and they didn't actually put it in there. Can you believe this? Hospital told her that. The doctors told her that when she went down to get it checked out. This is a major hospital down in the city that told her this. Anyway, turns out when she went down to Adelaide this recent time, a month ago, they did I don't know if it's an MRI, but it's like a full body X-ray. She had to have one. So the girl not only got hit by intense radiation, but they found all these clots in her lungs. Turns out, they then said to her, well, we think you've got lung cancer. And it has to be connected to the loss of blood that you've had. And nobody has even questioned this damn implanon, right? So after some more, she had to go somewhere else and get some more scans, more detailed scans of her lungs. Can you believe it? They found this implanon in her lung. I mean, she sent me a text of the picture of this. So this implanon had traveled from her arm, went through her aorta valve in her heart, and then lodged in her lung. Oh, look, I would hear her complain about feeling like she was really sore in the chest and couldn't cough properly, and she felt like she had angina or like pain in the heart. And, you just don't think about these things. Who would have thought that this damn implanon had traveled through her heart and into her lung? And here it was. I saw this damn thing about 4 centimeters long in her lung. Oh, look, I was absolutely speechless. My mother, who is a nurse, she was speechless. And to have survived that and to not, have complications then when it was traveling through her, it was just unfathomable to me. So they did she went in for immediate emergency surgery. They must have cutting edge technology down at hospitals, but they got a little microbe, a little remote control little thing, this microbe, and basically controlled it with a little remote, and they put it in her groin through a major blood vessel, and it traveled all the way up through to her lungs. It snapped the implanon, put a hook around it, and pulled it back down this blood vessel out through her groin. All the while, she is conscious. They did this without her being put under general anesthetic. Can you believe it? Oh, this poor girl. Oh, God, my heart went out to her. Oh, the girl has, she's had some huge challenges and setbacks in her life already. So then, she then sends me a picture of this implanon in a little, them little sterile jars. This damn implanon, and it's out now. And she said, look, after they pulled it out, I had the best cough that I've had in 6 years, to cough. And she just said it was just incredible. It was incredible. So now she's on the path of healing and becoming better again. But all of this happened because of this implanon. She does have some more complications happening now, but there is a chance she may have cancer. But like I said to her, honey, psychic vibe, this is not what is going to put you in the grave. Honey, you have got years ahead of you. So do not let this affect you. I said this is just now a consequence of having to live on a day-to-day basis with this experience and, this abnormal balance of hormones for all these years. I said you've got to let your body heal. Don't be frightened with what the doctors are telling you now. This is just now a gentle road to recovery. So allow your body. It's going to take a good year, I feel, for her to be in normal health again, because the body's been operating under such duress for so many years. It's going to take a very long time for her to get back to normal health, normal hemoglobin count. And, you got to remember that cancer itself is generated in an anaerobic, deoxygenated condition. That is how cancer thrives. It needs an anaerobic state of being. It thrives in a state of no oxygen. So if you have no oxygen in your body, and I don't know for how long she's had this hemoglobin count, this oxygen count at those levels, I mean, I'm not at all surprised to hear that, perhaps a rare type of cancer has developed because the lack of oxygen in the body. So all you need to do now is, reverse those symptoms and introduce more oxygen into your bloodstream. And hopefully that will decrease, the potential cancer that may be there. But I feel good about her outcome. She just needs to recover now and take care of herself. I mean, can you believe this has happened? It was such an innocent thing for on her part to get one of these things in her arm, and then for it to go so horribly wrong, and then for the hospital to tell her that, oh, I think we didn't put it in your arm, but we think it fell on the floor, and because we can't find it. So, a lot of people would probably go legal with something like this. That's not her nature. She's had a lot of her family members tell her she needs to go legal and get compensation for all of this. She's not so concerned about this. She said, all I would really like is just to have an apology from the hospital telling me that it was all in my head. So oh, look, the girl is amazing. She's such a kind person, such a generous person. Um, oh gosh, I just think, this is just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So believe me, a lot of people, no matter what spectrum of transition or challenge you may be faced with, oh, hold on one second. A lot of people are going through it in varying stages of degrees. Sorry, that was just the low. Sorry, honey. Here we go. Oh, sorry about that. It's a long piece of wood. Because I don't have a chainsaw, I can't cut it, so I just burn it until it kind of just snaps and then push it in a little bit more. Hopefully it's okay now. So, sounds like everyone's going through their own transitional time, and that's why I titled the previous live stream, Moving Through the Asteroid Belt. Because that's how it's been feeling like. Just bringing the screen back up again. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Conedge. Conedge? Yeah, oh, look, the girl is strong. Hi, Nathan. Hi, Kat. Oh, Sarah said, yeah, I had the Marina implant and it messed up with my hormones so bad, creating depression. And once it was removed, it took a little while, but I eventually felt like myself again. Yes. Oh, look, I don't like any form of contraception like that. Stinkmeister said, I'm going through the same thing as her, minus the birth control. Wow. Yeah. Oh, look. Oh, Amanda says it's hotter than hell in Los Angeles right now. I'd love to be sitting by a fire, even with Chucks. Ah. Okay, so there's a bit of dialogue going on here. JT says, our chooks have just started to lay eggs. We got 4 so far. It has been so exciting. Oh my gosh. And you know what? It would be so much warmer up where you are in the far north of Queensland. But my girls, only one is laying right now. So they're all going into their hibernating. All their energy is going into this molt. So Venus is a little subtle molt. Dima is just the hardest molt ever. Erythe wants to lay an egg every day. I put her on the nest to lay, but she doesn't lay an egg. So she must be now producing the hormones still, but she's always been an erratic egg layer, and she's always had problems laying bad eggs, as in they're not fully formed. So poor girl, she's always had issues with that. Shalaha, though, she's on the bank. She's on the bank. She's banking an egg every day. So it's just how it is. I don't ever remember it last year like this, except for with Dima. Anyway, this is just how the cookie crumbles with having a flock of chickens. So yeah, gosh, guys, wow. Lots of things going on. The most important thing for anybody for anybody is just to be following that intuition. I always come back to this. I always return back to this during a live stream, talking about the importance of honoring your intuition, because it is the all-seeing eye. It is the barometer. It is the dialogue with the higher self. You know, well, it is the higher self translating the ideas and the choices through the emotion that you feel in your heart. And there's this silly conditioning on this planet saying, oh, you think too much with your heart and not with your head, and that's ridiculous. It has to be all heart. We are, our essence as humans, or man, I should say, is love. Our creation is from love, and not an emotional type of love. It's the love that governs the entirety of our existence, that governs the entirety of the cosmos, or at least ours, our universe. I don't know how many universes there are, but I mean, we're talking, when we talk about cosmology, we talk about those kind of things. It doesn't matter how many there are, but at least for our universe, our bubble of existence, it is the governing aspect of everything, of a plant, of a chicken, of a human, of everything. And there is nothing more important than you feeling like you have the space to be and act as you want. To be and express yourself in any way that you wish, regardless of whether it's right or wrong in someone's mind, whether it's following the status quo or not. Allow your integrity to see it through. To see it through. There is no right or wrong about it. Everything is subjective. Everyone's always going to have an opinion whether they think it's right or not. Again, it's, that flow, that energetic stream, the flowing stream. Like I said, not everyone's going to love what I do. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. But you can't dwell on that, because at the end of the day, you are who you are, and this is your point and your perspective of reality, and theirs is theirs, basically. Their point is their reality. It's always going to be a different perspective. So, be kind to yourself. Give yourself the break and the time to do as you please. And whether it's right or wrong or whatever, give yourself the space and the capacity to nurture those dreams and nurture those desires. So long as they're not harming anything else, allow yourself the space and the creativity to flow and express and refine the compass needle. That's right. We're going to finish on that note. Mum's going to fix the fire. I'm going to open the door, and hopefully that northeasterly breeze is not going to bellow through here like it did this morning. And we may be able to open the door a little bit, but it's still cold. It's frigid cold right now. And the chickens are happy in here. So it's going to be an indoor day for all of us. I've got plenty of work to do in here. Chook's got plenty of work to do, eating, sleeping. So it's all good. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much again for all your great feedback about Eyes of the Scarlet Rose. I can't wait to bring you the succeeding chapters. I hope, by the way, before I go, I hope it makes sense the way I'm uploading. I'm uploading in succession with consecutive chapters. I'm unable to upload too much more than a half an hour because the bandwidth won't allow for it. I tried doing a little more, like when I first started, and it would Um, when you're uploading, like sometimes it can cancel or lose, I guess, lose the stream or the bandwidth. I don't know, but I did it. I thought, you know what, I do not want to go through this again because you don't get those gigs that you use back again, and it's a pain. But so half an hour is fine. And look, if people love the story enough, they won't mind. They will just continue it as I upload. So thank you for enjoying and giving me your feedback. And I can't wait to bring you the other chapters. I think there's over 100, so we've got a few to go through. Um, and yeah, it's been a great experience. So until next time, people of Earth, beauties all around the world, I love you so much. And may you always be blessed by the supreme truth and love of the cosmos. Know your sovereignty, know who you are, believe in yourself, love yourself, be kind to yourself. You're amazing. Don't ever forget how worthy and how important your existence is in the world. You mean so much to so many. Love you guys.